Hola a todos. Hi everyone. Welcome back to MetaFit MetaMind podcast, a podcast in which speakers, leaders, entrepreneurs, and influencers come in, share their story and their journey on how they've gotten to this place in their life, while also normalizing those conversations between mental and physical health and wellness. I am Karleigh Rodriguez, your coach and trainer of NLP and host of this podcast, and I created this space to remind you to raise your voice and share your story. And as your guide, I'm here to create a pathway to let go of all those limiting chains behind and using this platform to empower and create awareness, purpose, and expansion in your life. You can follow us on Instagram at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast, on my personal one at Coach Carlita. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's already the third week of March, and it's just amazing how one can just be finding out some news and then just some short time later, baby is here. And in my case, my baby is almost 7 months next week, to be exact. It's been such a whirlwind of emotions and experiences to be a mom to an infant. I've been a bonus mommy for a while now, but you can agree with me that it's different, right, bonus parents? The beginning of this month was just so gratifying and abundant because, as you know, I was a featured speaker at the Abundance Now Summit, and it was honestly such a gift. Now, I know that I'm calling for more speaking opportunities, so when you are ready for me to be on your stage, let me know because it is time. Okay, I still can't announce specifics yet, but I can tell you that if you're in Austin, to save the April 27th date. That is all. The last update that I have for you is that this June, we have our summer cohort of the NLP certification training, which is a 5-day certification training plus 6 months of support. And in November, the first cohort of the hypnosis certification training. So that's something that I'm very excited and eager and just like, can't wait. And we're already starting to enroll into the hypnosis. Just that. So remember to share the podcast with people you think would like it, rate it, and subscribe to it so you don't miss the updated episodes. Again, remember to listen on Apple, Google, Spotify, Castbox, and any other platform that you listen on. So, in this episode of MetaFit MetaMind podcast, I was able to just be grounded and feel so calm with my guest, Karleigh Lindsay. She's someone who I met a couple years ago through a networking event, and she just makes you feel at ease when you're around her. She's a powerful, powerful light worker, and I don't know if she considers herself this, and someone who helps others with their growth, their breakthroughs. Also does some really cool events here in Austin, like hot girl walks, things like that. So she's definitely living life to the fullest and in her fullest expansive abilities with so much fun. So please listen to this episode and enjoy. Let us know what you think. So enjoy the episode. All right. So, welcome back to MetaFit MetaMind podcast. My name is Karleigh Rodriguez, and I'm really, really, really excited to have a special, wise, powerful goddess guest here, Karleigh Lindsay. And I just realized that today is International Women's Day. So, happy International Women's Day, Karleigh.
Oh, happy International Women's Day. That warms my heart so much. Women empowerment is such a huge part of my mission. What are the odds that
I
here we would
know.
be on International Women's Day?
Yeah, it was meant to be, and whatever wisdom comes, and I'm really excited about, what you have to share with me and with my audience, and it's just to empower women and of course all humanity. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to know, Karleigh, is because you and I have met before, we've connected in networking events, and I know a little bit about you too, and you have all these really cool things. But first, what I want to know is who is Karleigh?
Hmm. Funny you should ask that question because I asked myself that question a few
Mm,
years ago. I had left an abusive relationship where I was conditioned out of being myself.
mhm.
And I totally lost myself in that process. So I left my abuser and then I kind of looked around and was like, "Ooh, I don't know who I am anymore." And eventually, through a lot of journaling and self reflection and meditating, I realized I don't have to know, I get to decide. And since then, I've built who I am brick by brick. And I'm so proud of the person that I've built, because I hand selected like every single part of me and the parts of me that I really felt like were really me, which is like, I'm fun and but I care a lot and I can hold really powerful space and I can be this wide channel, but I can also be super playful and really like at the depths of my soul, I'm a person who's on earth to help other people because I just love it so much. It brings me so much joy. And, I love, like, I guess I define myself by the things I love. And I love to travel. I love to help. I love to create. And I love to become. I love that I've figured out how to not get so caught up in the challenges that they last a long time and instead use every single challenge, every single quote unquote failure as a lesson to continue to grow and evolve and become my higher self. I actually, to this retreat that I'm on in Guatemala right now, I have adopted the mindset of every day is the best day of my life. And I feel like that's who I am.
I
It's
love
somebody
that.
who commits to getting the most out of every day and helps other people commit to getting the most out of their life.
Man, I love that. It just sounds to me like you're pure light and love and connection is what it's sounding like right now. And something you did before we started this recording was that you pulled a card for me, and it showed grounded, and I really appreciate that, and I felt that energy. And so you're someone who, I think, in my opinion, and from what I know of you right now, is that you are just someone who gives people energy, and I hope that you continue to do that because it's powerful and it's magic, and I really love it. And yeah, like I really felt that groundedness after I had to catch my breath a couple times. I was like, okay, yeah, I feel this. So I appreciate that. And it hasn't been something, that I would say easy. Like, I don't know what's a better word for that, building yourself brick by brick. And, I love how you said also hand selecting, these pieces that is what's making you you. And so in this process, what's been that journey or that story that has brought you to here? What was that like? Hey, I gotta move in that direction.
Yeah. So for 12 years, I wanted to be a doctor.
Mm.
I worked tirelessly. And long story short, it wound up being a trauma response. And I
Mm,
didn't know that until I had already done my whole pre med track in college. I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, with a minor in chemistry. I was working in a cancer clinic for 3 years. At that same time, I was going home. I was working 11-hour days, and then I
mm.
was going home and trying to write essays about med school. And I kept getting rejected. And now I teach
Mm.
rejection is redirection. So, just in case
Ooh,
that's
nice.
useful to anyone
Yeah.
listening. But I kept getting rejected, and I would be like, I don't understand. I scored in the 80th percentile on the MCAT. I did pretty good in school. I have letters of recommendations from doctors. The
Yeah.
doctors are reading my essays. Like, I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, okay, maybe the problem is I just have too much on my plate. So I took a leave of absence from my cancer clinic job. And I was like, okay, my job now is applying to med school full
Mm.
time. I tried typing my essays, I tried writing my essays, I tried different places of working, like I tried everything I could
Yeah.
think of. But what I kept writing instead of the essays was, do I even want this? And
Yeah.
I had to really reckon with like, the 12-year-old version of me, which is the how old I was when I decided I wanted to be a doctor when my first friend died of cancer. A
Mm-hmm.
second one died when I was 17. So, in
Ooh.
my child
Mm-hmm.
brain, I took that as like, okay, God wouldn't kill my friends if he wasn't sending me on a mission. Now I
Mm.
understand trauma and I understand the brain and I understand that what I was trying to do was take control of a situation I had no control over
Mm-hmm.
and prevent other little girls and boys from feeling the way I was feeling by saving their friends.
Yeah.
But what I was doing was sacrificing myself and what I really wanted for this mission that my 12-year-old self decided on. And eventually I had to decide like, okay, I'm in my 20s now and my or then and I have to know that my 12-year-old self isn't calling the shots anymore. So
Mhm.
if this is coming from a wound and not a desire, I have to really rethink that. And so I was like, okay, well, I know I want to help people. Like, I love the feeling I have helping people, and that was the other really confusing part is my cancer clinic job. I loved it. It was so fun. It was
Yeah.
like, I felt like I was uniquely suited to like
Mhm.
care enough to do a really, really good job, but I didn't fall apart every time someone died. And people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was really confusing. But then I was like, okay, I'm not going to give up this dream until I have a new dream. And I did the Japanese ikigai, which is the reason
Oh,
for being. Are you
yeah. I
familiar
love
with that?
Ikigai. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did it and I had done it before, but when I did it the first time, I have to be totally honest, I
Mhm.
was just wanting to get doctor. Like I purposefully put different things in the bubbles
Yeah.
that were like, obviously this says doctor. So then I
Yeah.
did it for real, for real. And I was like, okay, let's see. And like overwhelmingly, it was like when I looked at the skills, and I didn't
Mhm.
know a whole lot about coaching at that time,
Mhm.
but when I looked at the skills, I was like, this is I think this might be life coaching. And then within the span of about 2 weeks, my partner, the doctor I was working for, and my best friend all were like, you would be an amazing life coach. And I was like, okay. So I started looking into it. The doctor I was working for recommended Brooke Castillo. So I started
Oh,
listening to her
nice.
podcast
Yeah.
and learning what life coaching was. And I
Mhm.
remember being in the car driving down Cesar Chavez and going, wait a fucking minute. This is a job. Like I've been doing this for free my whole life because
You
I've
can get paid
always
for this?
been right. And I've always been the person that like my family comes to when they're struggling or like
Yeah.
when my friends are struggling, like I'm the person that they call. And
Mhm.
I'm not like so much of an advice giver as much as I have always been the kind of person who's like, I need to figure out what's going on in your mind and
Mhm.
asking the question. So I
Yeah.
had all these coaching skills. And then I found out coaching was a job and was like, I think this is what I really want. And it was
Yeah.
helpful that I learned during the pandemic that I really wanted to be able to grab work and go anywhere. So it
Yeah.
was like, okay, I never imagined I would be an entrepreneur, but it was like this path encompasses all my skills and gives me the lifestyle I wanted, which is what was missing from the medicine path.
Yeah.
And I took the leap. My first client kind of fell into my lap. I was scared shitless to create the Instagram and
Yeah.
like start owning myself as a coach. I remember being like, what will that girl from high school think? Like, does she
Yeah.
think I'm worthy of being a coach? Keyword there,
Yeah.
worthy.
Worthy.
It was a big self-worth like
Mhm.
level up of like, I have to decide that I'm worthy of the life I want, no matter how unreasonable and insane it sounds to my family members and the people who knew me prior to now. And I mean, I'm so beyond happy. Like I genuinely feel like I made the right choice and I had no idea that work could be energizing.
Yeah.
My first meeting with my client was at 8 p.m. on July 22nd, 2021. And
Wow.
I at like 7:30 p.m. I looked at my partner and said, "Today's the first day of the rest of my life." And I can't tell you how right I was, and I
Yeah.
still feel just as like excited and expansive and joyful. Everything I do with Aligned and Empowered, from one-on-one meetings to my moon
Yeah.
manifestation membership to the events, everything leaves me feeling like this is exactly where I'm meant to be. And now it's my mission to help other people feel like this all the time.
Yeah, and for those of you, if you can't hear it, like, go back and listen to how passionate she is here. Like, you know what's interesting, Carly, is that we always this society thing, and I think I talk about it in different episodes, but how we think that that's what we're supposed to do, and this will make us money and whatever, whatever, and then people are like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. But what's really amazing about this part is that you had people who also encouraged you, right? And were like, hey, I think you're meant to do this. And what's interesting about us coaches, it's like an innate gift, I think, that people will go to you for some sort of reason, and people go to you because they're like, hey, Carly is going to listen and she's going to ask me the questions that need to be asked in order for me to get my answers. And that's essentially what we do as coaches. And I remember as a kid, I shared this with somebody else the other day. I was like 7 or 8 at the laundromat. An older person shared her story with me at the laundromat, and I was like a 7-year-old kid, and I was just there, at those chairs waiting. And it's like you're made for this, and this is what I love is that you're with the passion that you have, with the knowledge that you have, because you have the skills of the college, the degrees too, which is really cool because that's this other piece that you have, that just makes you that much more. I don't wanna say that much more powerful, but just powerful for people to, like, work with you, you know? And I think it's really cool how you said, or I thought it was interesting because you did say something about it's trauma response, right? Like you wanting to be a doctor
Mhm.
and stuff. And what's interesting that you said that as this 12-year-old girl, which these are powerful, powerful fucking words, is she said, if God chose to kill my friends for a reason. And that to me was like, oof, you know, like for a
Mhm.
12-year-old girl or 17, you said the other age of 17, right? For
Yep.
this young girl to be thinking that is like, whoa, where is that coming from? And now you have that realization that that's not probably necessarily true. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, so in so many ways, medicine saved my life. Like
Mhm.
I was only in high school for 3 years because I wanted so bad to be a
Yeah.
doctor. So I did my junior year during my senior year or vice versa. And I did online school after going to regular school. It was like school, cheer practice, like doing other
On
school
it.
for my entire junior year, which was also my senior year.
Mhm.
And then I went to college. And in college, I had to make a certain GPA because I knew
Mhm.
I was going to med school. So that really kind of helped me stay focused in the
Yeah.
books. And don't get me wrong, in college, I did wind up like with the wrong path. I actually met my abuser in college
Mm.
and started dating him and fell into the wrong group. But had I not had medicine to anchor
Mhm.
me into like, I have to get my schoolwork done, I
Yeah.
have to be in the library, XYZ, who even knows how many more poor choices I would have made. And
Yeah.
then being in medicine and working in the cancer clinic, I mean, one time I found a brain tumor on somebody's scan that nobody had addressed. So like I got to make a
What?
real difference. And I
Yeah.
always say, like, I got to play doctor for
Yeah.
3 years. I got to try it and like,
Yeah.
have a little bit like get to impact people in their healthy, like in their
Mhm.
body. And then I just kind of looked around and was like, well, what good is your body if you're like stalled on your goals and your mind's not in the right place and your
Mhm.
life's not where you want it to be? Like something you said specifically was, the life I was supposed to, right? Like,
Yeah.
follow the steps, get the degree, go to college, like do the thing and like take the traditional job. And
Yeah.
actually, the number one regret of the dying, so in the top 5 regrets of the dying, the number
Mhm.
one regret of people on their deathbed is I wish I would have lived the life I wanted and not the one I was supposed to. And that's what I saw because
Yeah.
I had to really reckon with that of
Mhm.
like, this is my experience as Karleigh Lindsay here on this earth.
Mhm.
And if I'm sacrificing myself to do what I think I'm supposed to, or because I don't want to look like a quitter, I'm not being true to me and I'm sacrificing all versions of me, like my full potential, my inner child, like
Yeah.
every part of me that's counting on me to be the main character, writer, director, creator of my life is let down when
Yeah.
I think other people's values or what they think I'm supposed to do matters more than what I think. Like, I what I want matters the most. I've got to be with me 100% of the time. And actually, the fifth regret of the dying is I wish I would have let myself be happier. And
Yeah.
I feel like I've unlocked the secret to like happiness on demand. Like I love positive
I
psychology
love it.
and like I can fix that. And so
Mhm.
when I read that the top 5 regrets of the dying and I found out those were 2 of the 5, to be honest, my coaching addresses the other 3, but those 2 are really near and dear to my soul.
Mhm.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I meant to do. And death is still involved, right? Just like it was
Yeah.
when my friends died, when I
Mm.
was working in the cancer clinic. Like there's this element of like, you get one life in this body and you
Mhm.
have to maximize it. I always say I help people maximize their earth experience.
Yeah.
So, like, how can we make sure that everybody's living in their authenticity and doing what they want and
Mhm.
having the tools to like have a great freaking time and
Yeah.
live up to their full potential while they're here. Because if
Yeah.
it's not fun, what's the point?
What is the point? Yeah, and that's one thing I've been learning is like I think people talk about like how their values, right? What's important to them in their life. And sometimes when I work with people, like they give me what it's important to them in their life or in their health or in their business. And I'm looking at this list and I'm like, so where's the fun in here? You know? I'm like, is there, or sometimes I won't even tell them, I'm like, is there anything else? Are you sure that's it? You know? And because people think that fun isn't part of success and part of like, doing the life and creating the life that you want. And I think that's really amazing that you include that is to have that fun, to have it be just joyous and fulfilling. And you said like you're maximizing it, which I really love is that Karleigh, those of you who don't know her, like, and I just see her post, we don't see each other all the time or anything like that, but I see her maximizing this shit and just like, whoa, I love it. I love this energy. And you get in the room with her, you just like light up, which is really, really fun. And so I'm sure clients really love, and just friends and people around you just love being around you. And so let me ask you this. What would you say like is one way that you are maximizing? I just probably said fun, but what's like another way that you're maximizing what you want to do for Karleigh and not what the rest of them said that was supposed to happen? And before you answer that too, I just want to add that although unfortunately that's what happened to your friends, and I do want to acknowledge this, that they were there as maybe messengers for you to just guide you and lead you in this direction, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot of the things that happen to us in our life, they're meant for us. And sometimes it is freaking hard to get through them. And it's just like, why is this happening? But here you are being the powerful one that you are, And so I just want to say, like, it's you were meant to be in that space and in that cancer space to help that person that you found that in their brain. And that's, I think, part of your I don't know if if this is the right word, but the healer journey that you are, the energetic.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So how are you maximizing, like another way that you're maximizing for yourself?
Well, right now, I'm literally living my dream life. Like
Yeah.
I this whole week, I'm in Guatemala on a co-working retreat with an organization called Momentum Monday.
Cool.
And like when I started my business, it was like I just dreamed of being able to grab work and go anywhere because
Mhm.
I maximizing my earth experience for me specifically means seeing as much of the planet as I can while I'm here. Like
Yeah.
there's so much to see, there's so many people to meet, so many cultures to explore. Like I love being in a brand new place. That's when I feel like the most me. I love to explore and
Mhm.
see and experience. And so, right now on this co working retreat, I've gotten to do just that, like grab work, go to Guatemala. The people here have been amazing. I've been in supportive community, which is something I've
Yeah.
kind of struggled with here and there. Like, I'm a friendly person, but I have trouble, like, or have had trouble making like close friend groups. Like, I always somehow get left out. I mean, I grow at a
Mm,
really fast pace. So
yeah.
it's not surprising to me that people have a tendency to fall away. I'm sure it's jarring when your friend
Yeah.
is, evolving and you're feeling maybe a little bit left behind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here,
Definitely
I
feel
got
that.
to, like, I mean, on Tuesday here, I got a massage by a local Guatemalan woman. I got to tip her like huge, I like
Yeah.
10 times what I hear is the weekly salary here, which
Yeah.
is crazy. I got to try aerial yoga, which is something I've been wanting to do. Like I'm sitting in my room right now with a view of Lake Atitlan on a
Yeah.
podcast talking about my life. Like this is what dreams are made of.
Heck
And
yeah.
so for me, maximizing my earth experience is all about following my intuition and really remembering, like I had a coach tell me desire is God showing you the path. And ever
Mm,
since then, I was like, okay, every desire I have, no matter how crazy or unreasonable it sounds, it is meant for me. And it's my duty
mhm,
to achieve that, like to
mhm,
go for it and see what happens. And I'm allowed to change my mind and some things aren't going to go as planned. But when I keep focused on what do I want and
mhm.
what's my intuition telling me about getting it, that is where the magic is. And that's where I
Yeah.
get to be in the present and
Yeah.
experience all that life really has to offer.
Yeah. And that's something that's really important. And in knowing that, you know, in this journey of yours, maximizing, having fun, all the things I think we've peppered it in, but in your personal experience, what's been that correlation between like your mental and your physical health and wellness?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, right? Because how
Mhm.
you do one thing is how you do everything. So, like, taking care of your body's huge. Like,
Mhm.
actually, while I was in an abusive relationship, I started feeling the pull towards being vegetarian.
Mm.
And turns out, spoke to a trauma therapist that I love. Her name is Vanessa Holloman. But I spoke to her, and she said, actually, when you're healing from trauma, it makes sense to eat more plant based because you can taste the trauma hormones in the meat, like not consciously, but
Oh, wow.
subconsciously. And so I was already, while still with my abuser, I was already trying to heal by
Mhm.
going plant based. And of course, for him, that was so annoying. Now I'm inconvenient. Now it's like hard for me to find food at restaurants, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But like when I started taking care of my body in that way during that relationship, it was like the first step of I'm worthy of following the path that I want and trusting myself and my
Mhm.
intuition, no matter what you think, what kind of resistance I get, and really honoring my needs.
Mhm.
And then now I do like hot girl walks where like it's very much in tune with like you're moving forward
Mhm.
physically while you're talking to each other about your goals and your intentions and what you want for your life.
Yeah.
And like that's so powerful and huge. If you've never done a hot girl walk, highly recommend. Even if you're a man, just do it. Just
Yeah.
I have a hot girl walk playlist. It's all affirmation songs. Just find me on Instagram and it's in my highlights, or I'll send it to you. And just give yourself like 8 minutes to go on a walk, listen to affirmations,
Mhm.
and like really feel them in your body. I'm successful. I'm smart. I'm courageous. I'm sexy. I'm creative. I'm wealthy. Even if you don't feel it, like focus on where you want to be. I'm not kidding. The confidence that you will develop in that process is unmatched. And you're training your brain, like literally creating new neural networks so that it can become closer to your default. The next
Yeah.
time you're walking around the farmer's market or through the grocery store, you just might catch yourself in an affirmation. And that can change everything because it changes your self concept, it changes how you show up, and it reminds you how freaking worthy you are of every single thing you want.
Yeah, man, poof, right there. That is for sure something that if you're listening, like definitely go back, listen to this too. Because I tell people, if you don't believe it right now, that's okay. Just keep listening to it because eventually your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind accepts it as being true because that's the cool thing is that the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And so even if your current reality doesn't, have that I am fucking powerful, that's okay. Like it's gonna accept it over time and the more you repeat it. So I love that you shared that. And let me ask you this, Karleigh.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, go
really
ahead.
quick, something I want to add to that. Just because, like, our brain can call bullshit, right? Like, some
Mm-hmm.
people are like, affirmations don't work because our brain will be like, oh, like, there's so much
Mm-hmm.
evidence against that. So, a baby step that I like to give, I call it affirmations.
Mm.
So, what if I was fucking powerful? And make it a
Yeah.
question so that your brain can start exploring the answers so that you're not jumping straight I feel weak and decrepit to I'm powerful as fuck. And instead, what if I was powerful? And it opens your brain up to think, what if?
Mhm.
What would that look like? And it gives you, and then eventually you can drop the what if and you're left with, I am fucking powerful. And you are. Like, if you ever doubt that, I have no doubt you can borrow my belief because I 100% believe that you are powerful to whoever's listening. Like,
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. And if you doubt it, shoot me a message. I'll show you how powerful you are.
Heck yeah.
But like, so just that little baby step, that affirmation can take you out of the like disbelief and put you into the possibilities. And
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. That's the first place to start.
I love it. Informations. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna borrow it because that's
Yeah,
really
take it.
amazing. Yeah, because I've asked people that question. It's like, what if? And so they're like, but. So it's just practicing it. And what? So I know you're excited and you're maximizing and all these things, but what is coming up for Karleigh? For like, what is something that you want to share with us that is coming up that we should be aware of, like goals, things like that?
Yeah, right now, like what I'm really enjoying is my moon manifestation membership. So
Mhm.
it's super affordable. It's $11 a month. That includes both moon circles and a group chat so that you're
Mhm.
supported in your manifestation journey. We meet on the new and full moon every month. The new moons are for manifesting. We're about to have the Pisces new moon, which is our last moon to manifest under before eclipse season. Um,
Mm.
eclipses are kind of chaotic energy. They're a rite of passage. So depending on when this comes out, probably we'll still be in the eclipse portal. So I do want to like add a little snippet of like, if you're going through a hard time right now, just trust that it's for your highest good and alignment, because that's what eclipses are for. And so just having that support during the astrology weather, like remembering that like it's not just me. This is collective energy that I'm feeling. And
Mhm.
like, it's okay to have the highs and lows. And like the fact that you can use astrology to give like a little bit of a predictive nature and like reflective questions for like, how do you want to use your intuition for this Pisces new moon? We're ready to heal. Questions like that really get you thinking, and they give us a theme to really reflect on that helps us align with the energy of nature and the earth to move forward to get what we want. So I love my moon manifestation membership. I love my mindset and manifestation mentorship for people who are like ready to stop living the life they're supposed to and really want to get the most out of their time here. And then in the meantime, I do events in between. So there's definitely going to be a hot girl walk in
Yep.
March. Have just created black light glow paint pole dancing,
Ooh.
so that women can get in their warrior and remember their power. So no matter when you listen to this, there should be at least one event per month.
Mhm.
And if you happen to be in the Austin area, or if you want to join the virtual moon circles from anywhere in the world, I'd love to have you. And the reason I do these events is because these practices have changed my own life. I'm always my own test dummy guinea pig. I always make sure it works
Yeah.
on myself first, and then the stuff that really really works is the stuff I bring to my community.
Nice.
So like at any moment you are supported, loved, and guided to create your dream life. And if you're not feeling like you're in your dream life now, what the hell are you waiting for?
Go do it. And so if somebody is ready to go and live their dream life and, get into that space or that membership, where can they find you?
Yeah, I feel like Instagram's the best place. I'm pretty active on there. I answer 100% of my messages. So
Mhm.
if you do not get an answer back from me, send another one, because that's unlikely and I always answer. And
Probably
that
on a
way you
plane traveling somewhere.
stay up to date. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I could be out of the country, which is
Yeah.
up, but I'll still answer. Like, I like to, that's my community. I like
Mhm.
to connect. I want to help. This is my work, my purpose, and
Yep.
like this is my joy. So Instagram's definitely the best place. From there, you can find some links and book a free call if you want. I do offer free clarity calls. There's no pitch. We just sit and talk about where you are now, where you want to go, and we decide at least one action step you can take to get there, and we go from there. So there's tons of ways to connect for me and to benefit from this life philosophy that I've developed that's created like
Yeah.
a life where I wake up smiling. Like the other day, I caught myself smiling, putting
Yeah.
dishes in the dishwasher. And I was like, what kind of person have I become that my thoughts are so pleasant that I can just like enjoy this thing I used to hate? Like, and it's just every single time I'm reminded and I'm in the present moment and I feel this huge smile come across my face, I'm like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Yeah. I love it. And just if y'all are wondering, I think this is your Instagram, aligned empowered 111.
Yep, perfect.
Awesome. So I'll put that in the show notes. And let me ask you one last thing, Karleigh. That you've shared so many really amazing, powerful things already. But what's one piece of advice or something that you would want to share with someone that has helped you?
Mm. Yeah, let me feel into that. You are so worthy of everything you want, everything. And the fact that you want it is because there's a version of you that already has it. So it's just ready for time and action and belief to catch up. So I teach a 6 step manifestation process, which is decide, believe, commit, act, trust, feel. So knowing that, you're able to figure out, where am I struggling in this process? Am I having trouble deciding? Am I having trouble believing in myself? Am I having trouble committing? Maybe you need more tools or systems. Am I having trouble taking action? Are you procrastinating? Are you falling into that perfectionism cycle? Am I having trouble trusting now that I've taken the action? And that's what I call mind the gap, where it's the gap
Mhm.
between your ask and the answer, where if you make that mean that it's not coming, you're going to be right. The universe is going to say, oh, it's not coming. And then are you having trouble feeling into what that would feel like? That's how you get it. Is you tap into how would you feel if you were super wealthy and powerful? You would feel excited and proud and like, safe and supported. So tap into those feelings while you're in the in between instead of waiting and being like, oh, it's not here yet. Like, give it time. Divine timing is always on your side. So if at any point you run into any trouble in any of the 6 steps, shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to help. And I think that just remembering your worth and knowing that you're so, so beyond capable is the most important thing you can do for yourself. And just remember, you owe it to you to have a life that feels like heaven.
That's right, y'all. Listen to that. You owe it to yourself. So, Karleigh, I really, really, really appreciate you being here and just sharing all these gems, this groundedness, giving us some of that power that you have. So, again, thank you so much for being here. I so, so, so appreciate you.
Thank you so, so much. And for anybody who's listening, if you had like one thing you loved from this podcast, message it to me. I love to celebrate wins with people. So if there's something that stood out to you, I would love to hear it and just like be able to say hello and like really talk to you guys. So just let me know.
That's right. Shoot her a message, yo. All right, so this was a really super cool and it felt very down to earth episode and conversation that I was able to have with Karleigh. So please make sure to follow and just ask her any questions that you may possibly have. If you want to get to like go on one of those hot girl walks, one of her events, she does a lot of really cool things. Or if you want to work on yourself, definitely give her a follow, send her a message if you have any questions or anything like that. So in this episode, I learned a few things. One of them was that in life, you need to do things that will make you happy or that can help you enjoy it. Yes, we have to plan for the future and be ready for that, but at the same time, make sure to live it as fully as possible. If you need to, you can even do that exercise ikigai, as she said in the beginning of the episode, that can help you with your purpose, with what is fun for you, with just things that can align with you. The other thing that I learned in this episode is that when you find your purpose in life, you don't feel like you are forcing yourself to work. You show up differently. You show up possibly even more energetically and just more in tune with what you are supposed to do. And so it's about really being true to yourself, right? It goes along with the first learning that I had, but at the same time is if you haven't found your purpose, it's time for you to find your purpose. Stop thinking about that thing that you've been wanting to do and try it out. Because if we never try it out, you'll never know if it actually works out or not. So make sure that you do that. And as you go along, of course, make sure to create your boundaries and what is aligned with you and doesn't. Figure out what's important to you in different areas of life. So that is what I learned. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, MetaFit MetaMind Academy's NLP certification training is happening this June. And it's the summer cohorts. And in this training, you get certifications, you get 6 months of support to become a powerful communicator, coach, entrepreneur, a leader, so you can speak powerfully in your events as well. So register through the link in the show notes or send me a message if you have any questions. And of course, the first cohort of MetaFit MetaMind Academy's Your Quantum World Hypnosis Certification Training is happening this November 2024. So if you haven't done so already, please share, rate, and subscribe to the podcast because it honestly helps me pop up in different platforms and just show up, right? Because there's always someone's story that can resonate with someone and it will be something that you need to hear at that moment. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast, on Facebook, go to the website metafitmetamind.com. I'm working on getting more active in the community as well. And thank you so much for listening to this episode up to this point. My name is Karleigh Rodriguez. This is MetaFit MetaMind Podcast, where we are normalizing conversations that we would have never had. Until next time.